Hello, how are we? I want to come on and say thank you for all the subscriptions, all those that have subscribed to the channel, all of the returning viewers. Want to give a shout out to someone that helped me out, and I do truly appreciate. I just really enjoy reading cards, reading energy, and helping others. And my goal is to help others embrace the chaos, which is just basically life. It's not a bad thing. It's just life, things that are going on, and I want to be able to help others. Because I've been in a dark place before. Things haven't been easy, so I understand, and maybe we could learn from each other, share a little bit of each other's experiences. Now, from time to time, you will see me post some of my own personal readings, and that's just because I think it's only fitting. You know, uh, I don't know about other readers, but I know about me. My life is not peachy all the time. I make it peachy, but it doesn't mean it is peachy. Okay. Um, Recently, a little bit of insight, a little bit of knowledge as to what's going on in my world. My children's father, my 3 older children, he passed away on Easter, this past Easter. And then about 4 days ago, the motor blew up in my truck. So you see, everybody's experiencing things, but it's not about um, needing someone to feel sorry. At least not for me. It's just like I just want you to know that I struggle with things too, and I have things going on, but it's only fitting, I feel, to share my experiences with my life. So without further ado, we're gonna do an angel message. And this is if you're missing someone. So if you're not missing someone, then this reading isn't for you. This is going to be about someone that you could be separated from. This could be someone that has passed on. This could be maybe someone we haven't even, like a higher self that we haven't even connected to yet. Because I feel like a lot of us are working towards a higher timeline. So maybe we're just trying to understand, where we're going and what we're doing. So I got the hiccups and I can't grow, y'all. Anyways, let's jump in and see what's going on. Let's see what the angels have to say. We'll flip these around. No, we're going to do this way. Partnership. It's a very beautiful card. So this could have been someone that you had a connection with. And there was definitely a misfortunate event that took place. So this could be, unfortunately, a death of someone. But it didn't have to be. You could be missing someone. Maybe they could be overseas, because they're deployed. But there seems to be, it's just a series of misfortunate events. You know what I mean? I'll get it out in a minute, y'all. This is going to be kind of hard to do. I don't know why Spirit's leading me to do this, but we're just go where we're called, right? It's saddening. It's saddening. We don't want to fall into, see, we have danger here. This is like falling into the rabbit hole of the bad thoughts. I feel like it's almost like you don't. Hold on. Tell me some more about this danger, please. Don't hang on. I feel like the angels are saying don't hang on too much to the reasoning behind like the separation or the distance, or, you know, what happened in the past between you and this person, because there's a there's an underlying hidden, it's hidden danger to doing this, because we kind of get in these solemn states. You can get pretty sad, you know. It's pretty sad, some of the things, especially with this being a misfortunate. So it's almost like something, maybe this is a connection with someone that, you know, you would like for things to be differently. You would like for you and this person to be able to see eye to eye, but and it's like very saddening. It really bothers you to the core that you're not able to do this, and it's like the angels are wanting you to not hang on to that, not keep on to that, to just remember the good memories, the memories that you had from them. But there is danger with doing that as well, because then we start to miss them. So it's kind of like there's a dichotomy here. There's a little back and forth energy, I feel like, and it can really cause some things to come up. So if you had to separate from someone that you had love for, and for whatever reason the situation was toxic, it's like, don't hang on to the good too much. Don't pay too much attention to that, because then it'll start. It pulls on those rose-colored glasses, where we start over romanticizing it and romanticizing the situation to where we pull it back in. But there's also a danger of focusing solely on the negative aspects, or the reason why we had to separate from this person, because then, you know, you don't realize this, but if someone sits and focuses on the past, the bad things of a connection with someone, but you are inadvertently holding that person back from being able to grow. It's just the way energy works. I know you're probably not intentionally doing it, or maybe they're not intentionally doing that to you, or even if they are, they're not aware of it. Most people aren't aware of the amount that we actually hinder others by hanging on to negative aspects or bad situations with people. Evaluation. Yeah. There's danger with evaluating it. That's what I was just talking about, hanging on, you know, paying too much too much attention to the entire situation. I feel like probably need to fully just accept that your hands are tied in this situation. The divine stepped in. There was a reason for it. Although that reason may not be clear at this point, maybe you feel like, you know, the person was taken from you too soon, or maybe you feel like you weren't done with the connection, or however it resonates for you. It's like the evaluation can cause you to become stuck, to where you're not able to process things and be able to move forward. And I feel like that's pretty much what they're saying here. Celebrate the life if they did pass. If this is someone that you know, a loved one that's passed on, it's more of the celebrating their life and the holding on to the good memories, and not missing and holding them back, because energetically we can hold him here on earth. You don't want to do that. If you hang on too tightly to them, they're in a better place. You have to have trust and belief in that. And death isn't a bad thing. Death isn't a bad thing. Really, it's not. I know it doesn't feel like that. You know, when you lose someone, it's very difficult, especially when there was unfinished business. But because if you don't allow that energetic cord to fall away, then you keep them tethered here. And we don't want to do that. We want to let them go. So we're going to hang on. We're going to remember the good things and celebrate. Celebrate their life. Celebrate the times that you had with them. It was good. You know, keep on to those memories, but don't hang on too much of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because the shoulda, coulda, wouldas ain't going to help you now. Unfortunately, it's just the way it works. Misfortunate seduction. Okay, so now this is telling me that someone may tend to be easily triggered by the past, the situation, the differences. And it has it's like this, the way energy works. If you focus your attention towards something, then we're going to get a lot of it back. So if this was a misfortunate, unfortunate event, separation, the connection had to fall away, whatever. If we focus too much on those types or that particular thing, then the universe has no choice but to give that back to you, because that's what you're asking for, even though you may not be fully aware of it. You're manifesting at all times. So it's very important that we pay attention to our thoughts, the things that we're thinking about, and the things that we focus on. I'm not saying don't grieve. I'm not saying don't, because it's a grieving process, even if you just had to separate and divorce somebody, or get away from somebody because they were too toxic. It is a process. There is a process. But I feel like the message here is not to hang on too much to the past or the bad things. Look forward. It's time to look forward. Upheaval. Yeah, it'll cause a lot of things to come up that you really don't need to be experiencing at this time. It'll come up when it needs to come up. And if you're not careful, you can cause things to come up for you that you're not quite ready to deal with. And with this fresh or a wound, I would say that it's probably best to leave it alone at this point. And this is how you I'm an Aquarius, so I can decompartmentalize really well. I can take my feelings, my emotions, and I can set them over here in this box, and I can leave them until I'm ready. And when I'll come back through every once in a while, and I'll check that box. Am I ready to deal with that? And whatever emotion I feel at that time, I'll know whether or not I can, open that box and start going through those memories. So I kind of feel like maybe that's what we're needing to do at this point. Just set that box over to the side. Take all those memories. Take all those questions, all those misunderstandings, and put them all in a box. Let's tape it up real good. Let's set it over here on the shelf. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Just as long as you don't forget it's there. You have to come back and you have to visit it. Right now, it's too fresh. It's too early. So we're going to set that aside. We're going to distance ourselves from it, and we're going to go on with life. We're going to start doing little things for ourselves, going for little walks around the neighborhood, out in the woods, go down to your local park, just get out a little bit. It's good for you to get out and breathe fresh air. If you can get to the mountains, if you can get to the ocean, do what you can do. But it's really important that we don't spend a lot of time right now focusing on the bad situation that apparently that we have at hand, as far as dealing with this. Spirit of nature, that's what I was just talking about. That's about getting out in nature. Allow things to blossom on their own, allow things to form on their own, and allow a little bit of time. So because time does heal all wounds, it really does. And right now the wounds are fresh. The wounds are real fresh, and we've got to allow ourselves the time that we need to separate from that so that we're not so wounded by it. But we don't want to forget it entirely, because it'll come back up and haunt you later. So it's very important that we keep kind of like a guideline, kind of like a plan here. You know what I mean? We're going to check it in a month. We're going to check it in 2 weeks. Whatever works for you. We're going to check that box. Am I ready to deal with this? Am I ready to lay this out all on the table and get rid of what I need to get rid of and hang on to what I need to hang on to? Because that's when you're able to take those good memories and you can store them in your memory bank. Hey, you can keep them and you can discard all that other stuff. And then later on down the road, when things come up or conversation comes up or whatever, you're hanging on to good things. You have good memories. You don't remember the bad. We don't want to remember the bad. We don't. Yes, we want to. Let me correct that. We want to remember it to a certain degree, but not to the point where we're wounded by it, where it's no longer allowed to wound us. Because if we continue to hang on to those things, then we're going to continue to receive those kind of situations, and we don't want that. We don't want that. So this message is just basically understanding the self as far as letting things go. Unfortunately, we have to let this go. It's painful. It's painful. I understand that. I do. But there's certain times that, you know, you find the perfect time to be able to sit down and open up boxes. You know, you got a free weekend, nothing going on. Let's open up a box. Let's check it out. And I kind of feel like someone here's got a lot going on. There's not just this incident. There's many things in their life that they need to just sit with themselves and put it in a box. You know, draw it out on a piece of paper. And, you know, I mean, some people need visuals. If you don't, then imagine you taking these instances, all these things, and we're placing them carefully into a box. We're putting bubble wrap, we're putting all that stuff in there because we don't want to damage it. We're going to tape it up. We're going to set it over here. And we're going to do this with all those things. And then we're going to sit with ourselves in peace, in silence, without paying attention to any of those boxes. Those boxes are behind us. We're not paying any attention to them. And then start to sit with ourselves and allow ourselves to feel again, to feel free from those things so they're not weighing us down. Once you start to get to a place where you can free yourself and you can feel again and you can feel good and get back to yourself, pull back all your energy to yourself. You know, a little thing that I do every morning and every night is I put my hands together and I pull back all my energy. From all the places that I've extended to, I pull back my energy. Because if you just watch my video or if you watch another video or if you watch a movie, that part of your attention's there. But you've got to retract your memory. You have to retract your energy back from that. Otherwise, it'll keep playing. We don't want that. So it's okay to watch movies. It's okay to watch videos. It's okay to do all that stuff. But you always got to remember to retract your energy. And then at night, before I go to sleep, you know, I retract my energy. Pray to God. Pray to whatever you pray to, whatever deity works for you, however it works for you. Do what works for you, but always remember to pull back your energy because you want all your energy for yourself and not allow other things to use your energy because we're all interconnected. We're all interconnected. How do you think a reader is able to actually read energy? We don't just pull it out of the top of our head. There's emotions and there's thoughts. They're not our thoughts, but they come from somewhere. They come from the divine. So what I'm saying is it's very important that we take all these things and we put them in their perspective places, withdraw our energy from them, and sit with ourselves, sit with ourselves in peace. And then once we're able to uphold that peace for a period of time, we can start pulling those boxes off the shelf and start revisiting them. And I'll help you. I will gladly help you. Like this reading here, this is about missing someone. And this is about figuring out a way to be able to separate ourselves from it, from the pain of it right now, so that we can deal with it at a later date. We don't have to, it doesn't have to be dealt with right this instant. Now, I'm not talking about, there's special circumstances with everything, okay? I'm not talking about those special circumstances. If you're in a situation where you can set your feelings aside, you can set your memories aside, then this is what I'm talking about. Let's just set it over here. We'll deal with it in a little bit. We're not going to forget about it. It's very important that we do not forget about it. But we'll come back to it later when it's not so fresh of a wound. You know, that's like you scratch your arm. You got a big old scratch on your arm and there's salt on the table. You just scratch it, you put your arm on, ow, it burns like crazy. But if in a day or two, you know, that scab's over the top of it, you got salt on the table, you put your arm on it, it don't burn. You see what I'm saying? So we want to just create a little bit of distance, a little bit of time so that we can start to heal ourselves. And then we can go back to those messages in the box, those things that we need to deal with, those pains, you know. We have to learn to get past the initial pain of it. Well, sometimes you can't do it right away, and that's okay. We can do it. We can deal with it later, though. As long as we don't forget it's there. That's very important. Is there any more messages that we need at this time? We have discovery. That's a watery energy. Something about the emotions. I do see fire, fire, earth, earth, earth. There's more water. We have caution here. Discovery, caution. Tell me more. Secrecy. Here's my angel, my fallen angel, Baal. I love that guy. Justice. Okay. So, with this caution, I feel like it's very important that we're very selective in the things that we do at this point, because there's something here that you're unaware of that's going to bring justice to the way that you feel about whatever or whoever you're missing. There's some kind of, because Baal's secrecy, and that Baal is about family, about life, and is about justice, and you have justice Bodis right next to it. So, and it has to do with the emotions, because this is a watery, this is Venus energy. Let's see what this caution is. I'm going to pull a couple tarot on this. Tell me about this caution, please. Why are we seeing caution here? Ace of Cups, Four of Swords. If this is about a connection with someone, it's important not to get sucked back in. So that's the reason why it's important that we separate ourselves from that situation and not really pay a whole lot of attention to it at this point if we're missing them. If this is not, then you're going to feel some type of way that's different once the healing process is taken over, and you'll start to see things shift drastically. Sometimes setting it off isn't a bad thing, because we're not focusing our attention on receiving, feeling the pain and the wound of it. We don't want more of that back. We don't focus on that. There's, like I said, I've said in another video, it's important that we understand that the universe is fully aware when we're taking boxes off the shelf and we're hashing things out, we're understanding ourselves. The universe doesn't feed that back to you. There's an understanding there. At this point right now, where it's at right now, it would be feeding it back to you, because we haven't separated ourselves. We haven't started healing ourselves. The Four of Swords, that's healing it. And if we want changes in the way we feel about it, and we want those changes to happen quickly, so someone could be wanting to jump into something else, or wanting to no longer feel this pain, and that's not the way to go about it. That's not the way to go about it. If you want quick change to it, allow yourself to heal. It's very important that we allow ourselves to heal from anything that we deal with, because if you'll just carry it over into the next timeline, whatever chapter, however you want to look at it, you'll just carry it over into the next day. And we don't want to do that. So it's repeating itself. Spirit's repeating itself. Okay. Well, I do hope this helped you. I do. Leave it in the comments. Let me know. And until we meet again, toodaloo-loos.